Oi, oi. Why do you prefer to be alone? Why do I always prefer to be alone? You see, the way I see the world and the way you see the world, you live in a world of your own. I live in a world created by me in mentally. And so it's very difficult for me and you to exist, right? When you're creating your world and I'm creating mine, you have your way and I have my way. And naturally, we're going to want to express ourselves, right? However, we deem is the best. So if you're somebody who is very expressive, you like to dance, you like to sing, I may be somebody who thinks that there's nothing to music or something. But it gets much more deeper than that. Most of us want to be alone, not just because we live in our own world created by our own thoughts, but I think it's something much more, much more serious than this la-di-da-di, I live in my world, you live in your world. I don't have social media. I used to have a huge following on Instagram. I deleted it. Just flat out one day deleted it. And then I started one with just me and a few of my friends and people that I have met traveling. And I logged on today for first time in a while. And bro, I just came from a park where there were rabbits, literally rabbits and butterfly. Today was a good day, sure. We're in May. Sometimes the weather is beautiful, sometimes it is not. But today it was beautiful. The weather was beautiful, bro. I was running around with rabbits. I went to visit an old mate. We had a beautiful time. You get me? Everything was beautiful. And as soon as I logged into that Instagram, I swear to God, it was as if I'm in a different world. Something is happening in Palestine. I am Sudanese. I didn't even know there was something happening in Sudan. I'm confused. I'm just over here like, did I just spit on y'all on the camera? Sometimes that happens. You live in my world now. My rule goes. What I say goes. Anyways, uh, I did not know there was the world is going apart and the wars. It's not that I want to be ignorant to it, but in my world, those things don't exist. In my world, what exists, my mates, my auntie who I spoke on the phone with, she lives in Africa today. It was nice to hear her voice. My little brothers, we just sat there and watched classic, nostalgic uh, football games, and we all support different teams. I am. Can you guess which team? Doesn't matter. It's not important. But I prefer to be alone. Not that I'd rather be alone. I can't go chill with old mates. I can't go chill with my siblings or something. You understand? But the reason I prefer to be alone, and you would prefer to be alone, is most of the times how we express ourselves offend other people. Existing offend other people. There's also this weird underlying sort of tension where, for example, if you live with your parents and your old man is a hard-working man, there's gonna be that tension where this guy will side eye you because he wants you to do something, give back, help in, you know. But if you live on your own, you can do that Tom Cruise shit where he's just and then slide across the room. Bro, I used to live in my apartment and don't even have clothes on half of the time, just purely naked. And it was happiest. Uh, I'll make a video about this another time, but I also, a couple of months ago, just randomly, not a couple of months, last year in July, just one day woke up, and I think this is the privilege speaking, and I have no shame. Whatever privilege I have in life, God gave me whatever privilege. I had the privilege to just drop everything and go live in the bush. And I did that. And I was living with possums. They're cool. I even had a pet possum. I was living in a little tent and I was so happy, bro. Away from everyone. I was living near this little creek where the water just goes. And at nighttime, I would just watch random comedies and just laugh to myself and wake up in the morning. I even had like bird friends, all types of Aussie animals. The snakes, bro, they were so cool. Even though they're poisonous, it was so cool to live with them. Everything was so beautiful. Being alone with the animals, bro. I'm fortunate that in Australia and the way my life is set up, I could just sort of drop everything and be alone like that. And if you can't, I'm not here to flex on you, but I'm also here not to be ashamed. Like one of those people that, oh, I don't want them to know that I am privileged. Nigga, I am privileged more than some white people. That's not to brag, it's just honestly calling it for what it is. Anyways, I was privileged enough to go live alone in the bush every day. I would wake up, do whatever I need to do, right? Bro, I had the biggest backyard. I would get out of. I have to do a video and show you where my tent is and everything. But if you go on my community post right now after this video, whenever you see, bro, I even put up a tent ages ago. This was ages ago. It's on my community post. That's the exact same tent I lived in for months, like 6 months or something. Just literally living in the bush. I thought I was going to do it for 1 month. I loved it so much. I didn't want to be around any other human beings. I realized that even though I was born in a refugee camp, watched a lot of my mates die and family members and all of this, it didn't matter to me, bro. There was no trauma. There was no anger at the world. There was nothing to fight. I have totally given up fighting the world for any reason whatsoever. And I began to see every other human being is carrying a hurt, and then they bring that hurt to me, or is carrying some sort of trauma, or some sort of this is, I don't like this, I don't like that. Living with animals, bro, it doesn't matter what I like or what I didn't like. I had a little blue tongue lizard as a friend, and I had like a little sparrow, a house sparrow that I found as a friend. Living with no human contact. Well, it got to a point where it was weird because I just lived with no human contact, where I used to find excuses to talk to people. I would go to the store and act like I'm buying something just so I could talk to the cashier, because I need some human. I realize you do need some human interaction. But the reason I wanted to be alone is that I saw the world in such a different place to most people. And I don't want to like convince that other person that my worldview is appropriate for them enough to even accept it. I express myself in such a way that if you watch my videos, you would think this is a madman, clearly. Why hasn't anybody put him on pills yet? Easy. Every person, whatever you say, whatever you do, they will translate it based on how they see the world. Even sometime I'll even admit this. I don't like some things that some people do. I get irritated sometimes if you do something like what's normal here. I get irritated at some things that are a bit nonsensical, even though I could see that it is I'm capable of that nonsensical activity, if it makes sense. It means I become hypocritical around other human beings. I cannot express myself how I want. Most people are judgmental. Most people have an idea of how to live. But if we were to get to the crux of it, get to the bottom of it, the reason I prefer to be alone or have loved or grew to love this idea of being alone is purely because I was born like that. As a child, my mother would tell me, and she was a young mother too, a teenage mother. She said I would scroll away, crawl away. This was it. They tried to take me to Nakuru, Kenya or something as a little baby. I crawl away and went under the truck. The truck driver or whoever it was used to hate me, bro, as a baby. This nigga, well, every time he leaves, he checks the wheel. Because one time I went under the wheel just to be away from everyone. This is as a baby, bro. I used to do this constantly. I would crawl away from everybody else and just be alone. My theory is, to be honest, I think because my mother was such a young mother, she had me when she was 19 or 18, it made me feel like the little child of me was watching how She was sort of suffering to raise me, but I didn't sort of want to be a burden even as a child. I know it sounds weird with who thinks a little baby doesn't want to be a burden, but it's just Africans, bro, the way they. An example was this time, not in Kenya, but in Sudan, as a little baby. I'm a little baby just mumbling, tumbling. My mother tells me, as she tells the story, and they have straw huts. So they still live in huts. This was like in 97 or something. And I went and grabbed one of the huts thing, the branch, like the huts, bro. They fold down. They sort of fold like this. Look at Sudanese huts on Google Images. If you, they're cool, beautiful invention. The ingenuity is the way they're made. Anyway, I grabbed the thing and it cut my hand. And this old lady just went off at my mom. Remember, she's a young lady. Just went off at her. How dare you let the kid? His hand is cut. Blah blah blah. And apparently, I was never the same after that. Apparently, after me witnessing my mother get blamed for my own action, even as a little 2-year-old, changed my life forever. I was never the same as I am told. That was what changed me. It got to a point where I saw if I was alone, whatever I did, I was cool with it. I was fine with it. However I expressed myself, I was fine with it. But when I was with others, however I expressed myself would be judged, not only on me, but on others as well. My actions would be judged on me and on others. And to me, that was diabolical. This is how we really think as human beings. We can't let people just express themselves. Like life is beautiful, bro. We all express ourselves uniquely in every way possible. We are all unique in that sense. We express ourselves. I don't know how to end this well, but I prefer to be alone because I am not fighting anything anymore, man. There's nothing to fight. And as human beings, we always like to group ourselves. I just don't like to be grouped. I like to express myself how I like. Look at YouTube. Look at this. We mock people, lol cows, because they don't conduct or act themselves the way we do. Some cultures are extremes, like the Japanese and the Chinese. Get to a point where you're actually trying to control how the person acts. Otherwise, we excommunicate them. As human beings, we gotta allow each other to express ourselves how we want. And if there's anything I could do, is probably make more videos where I just express myself however I like. If you hate it, you hate it. Who cares? Express yourself how you like. If they hate you, bro. And they will hate you. Now it sounds like one of those people that try to like um, rile up their followers and they hate you. They don't like you. They don't want to see you win. I'm not one of those people. I don't even care about that. Whether you hate me, you like me, you don't want to see me win. I just prefer. Each time I was alone was the most beautiful time of my life. Being alone with animals and living in the Australian bush taught me that as human beings, the way we see the world, we are convinced it's the right way. And I just don't think that. And I don't care who you are. I'd rather be alone than to even try and change your mind or do something about whatever the topic is. I don't want to do anything other than just sit there. I fear soon I might go back into the bush. I don't fear it just like in a bad way, but I think when summer rolls around in a few months, I will go and be alone and chase butterflies and just exist in this world that is amazing, word beyond description. Or I can sit here and try to be an activist, a conspiracy theorist, a teacher, a guru, a man of the people, or maybe, perhaps, an expert. What's all this about, bro? You will see that I'm not somebody that you would like if you met in person. And for me, I make that assumptions. I know assumptions are bad, they're the mother loads of all fuck up, blah, blah, blah. But I just assume most people will not like how I express myself. The animals like how I express myself because we just sit there. If we play, we play. If the person wants to play, we play. If they don't want to play, we don't play. And I think that's, without carrying on too much, I think that's why I prefer to be alone, is that there is a lack of choice when we come together as human beings. There's a sort of an expectation. Things are imposed on you. To wrap it all up, everything is imposed on you. I like to be alone because I understand that there is a balance. Sometimes it's good to be with people. If you stay away from too much other human contact, and you think I lost my mind, I'll probably lose it even more. Or you will lose your mind even more. Most of the times, I think, what do people do with their times if they're not yapping on YouTube, or kicking a ball, or playing video games, or having sex? What do you do? What do I do in my spare time when I'm alone, which I claim to be the most happiest? Do you want to know what I do? Absolutely nothing. And that's why I prefer to be alone, because I like to do absolutely nothing. There are no expectations. There's nothing to do. Have you done that yet? Have you done this? Have you tried? No, I don't want to do none of that. I've reached a point in my life where I just literally want to live like an animal. And to most people, that's, well, just not on. And to me, I'd rather be weird and be happy with who I am at the end of the day when my times come to pause and sleep. Anyways, take care of yourself. Go be alone and express yourself how you want. Today is a bit like, it's a bit late. That's why I'm talking like this. Most of the time I'm very animated, but it is late and it's a late night, and you have a beautiful late night. Bye bye, bye bye, bye bye.